Welcome back. I'm the Watch Nerd. On today's video, we're going to be comparing two solid gold Girard Perregaux. Now, I saw the non-limited edition, the 1820 Ferrari first, and I thought it was a great value proposal. Then I saw the limited edition, and it blew me away, miles ahead of the normal one, but also a bit more in price if you can find them, because there's only 50. So I'm going to talk about these two watches really did well. What made the limited edition special, and how much more care was put into the limited edition compared to the normal references, the 1820. So we're going to flip it around and head into it. But right before I do want to keep talking about my Chanel chain giveaway. I'm going to completely do this random. I'm putting everybody that entered and followed the 4 steps in the description below in a list, and I'm going to randomize. So it's going to be random. It doesn't matter where you are in the world, but this chain will be sent to you. Now, first turning ourselves around, you can see the stark contrast between the dials right away. The blue is absolutely beautiful too, but the white is really something. And then we'll get into the deeper details right away. But first, I do have to just talk about what are the differences very quickly. So this is the 820. And then this is the reference 4945, and that's the limited edition, and it's 50 pieces. So I do have to mention that they made this as a regular production run, this Ferrari. So there was a lot more than 50. So what makes a limited edition special for a lot of people? Now, this is definitely a debate in the watch community, because there's companies, I'm talking about you, Omega, who have way too many limited editions than you're supposed to. And then there's other companies that don't do it at all, like Rolex. They barely do any, if any. And so there's definitely a middle ground. And I think Girard Perregaux does it pretty well here. So this is the standard model. You'll notice the chronograph pushers aren't all the way out. It's a different design, a little more affordable to make. The chronograph itself is the same movement. It's the 2827, so they're both ETAs. Now, each of the second hands are in the same place, same movement, but at the same time, it is very much a different look. I think the limited edition, they put a little more gold in. You see the lugs a little longer, a little chunkier, just in my opinion. The crown a little bit bigger, but basically the same. But I will point out something. There is no signage of the crown at all, and I think that definitely could be improved. Also, the glass is just straight sapphire, and there's nothing that there's no domage, or it's just a plain flat sapphire. And the date window is not extremely well executed, but it is a beautiful piece. Other complaints I originally had on this watch was there's no deployment clasp or anything. You literally just put it on like a regular watch, and I think in a gold watch you shouldn't actually do that. I think there should be something to make it easier, deployment clasp or something if it's an everyday, because you can definitely wear this watch in every day. The leather is actually very it feels premium, and the watch itself does feel like a higher end piece. It doesn't feel like a cheap watch. But on the contrast, this watch feels miles and miles ahead. So let's see about the improvements. I'll just talk about that right away, and then I'll give my opinion after I talk about both of them. So the crown is a bit bigger, I noticed. The pushers are also, the action, it feels nicer pushing them in and out with them actually coming out like that. Then the actual dial itself is this beautiful white. I think it's contrasting with the date windows. The date windows, because it's a little bit different white. I don't know if they did it on purpose, because the date window's white here too, but maybe they just, I think they used the same date window, and it was kind of an accident that this dial is slightly different white, but it is beautiful. It really does, and it feels like a lot higher end dial with the track going around. It feels sporty but also elegant, and the Arabics are really nice compared to just the lines for the hour hand, just the markers. I think I like the Arabics better. That's my opinion. Now, they did add the deployment clasp. That's what I really wanted. Now, this is not a direct better version of this watch, because it is limited and everything, but it is really nice. 18 karat, everything is 18 karat, the buckle on this one too, but it definitely feels nicer, and having a deployment buckle really matters to me. Detailing just feels better. You have a domage sapphire. On this, it's just plain flat, and I think that's
missing out a bit. I really do like that dome. It is absolutely beautiful. There is 1961 on the back there. It's commemorating 40 years. And they actually won Formula One, so that it's a big piece, actually. It's a big celebration for Ferrari, so Girard Perregaux definitely stepped up their game from the old one. They have the etch symbol and just a lot more, the car actually on the back, as you can see. And it's just, definitely for me, it feels like a nicer, higher quality watch than the other one. But at the same time, the other one definitely has a value piece. Where can you find an 18 karat gold, solid gold, everything on it, for around $5,000? What other company offers that? I haven't heard any. If you have heard any, except for Girard Perregaux, I would love to hear that. But these are really, really classy. I know it's on leather, you can't get them wet, but it also, they know you're not going to get it wet because there's no screw down crowns. They don't do any of that because it's on leather, and it's not something that's meant for the pool. This is meant for race car driving, for everyday use. You can wear leather as long as you're not jumping in a pool or you're a scuba diver. You can use this for everyday use, and it is absolutely beautiful. So let's go into the dials and look at the details themselves. So right away, you'll see that just the printing is very, very crisp on this dial. The date window does sort of fit. I understand why somebody would say it's not, because it's at the 4:30, and I despise 4:30 date windows. I say put it at 3 o'clock and barely maybe 12 o'clock if it looks really well done, but I really only like the 3 o'clock, and I think most collectors will agree with me. Some people like it at the 6, but I'm just not a huge fan unless it's the aesthetic of the watch. You'll notice a three-toned dial. You get blued seconds, and the chronograph is all blued. Then you have the red going throughout the dial. You see red on every one. And then you have the white face. So it's a beautiful dial, and I think they did that a little bit purposely. I like the red in there, and I love the blue. It really shows off. I will show some shots in the sun because this watch actually doesn't show justice like in the studio lights, so I will put you in the sun because the dial is just absolutely amazing. And I could see somebody buying this just for the dial, but the watch itself is made out of gold, and it is still a value piece, even though if you find them, because they're only 1 out of 50, so taking you to the crown, you'll notice the pushers are a lot nicer, but there is no signage. And then the back one more time so you can see. Very, very cool piece. It's great value. Also, if you want to adjust the deployment buckle, it's very easy. You just snap it out. So you snap it out, you pull it out, and then you just move to wherever you need to go. So if you need to make it a little tighter or a little looser, you would go down and then a little tighter, and then it just snaps right back into place. It's actually kind of, it's very fun to use. It's not like a hard one to use. I will put it on the wrist. On the wrist there, beautiful. It fits well, feels well. It doesn't feel heavy because of the leather, and it's just nice. I can definitely see myself wearing it. Personally, I wouldn't wear it just because of that date window, and that's just my personal taste, but I can see collectors really liking this watch, actually, I should say. And the leather goes into the case very well. It's very, very highly executed, and you can tell they thought a lot about it. Now, if we didn't have the watches side by side, I think that most people watching this video would think it's unbelievable. A blue dial watch, gold, everything is gorgeous about it. But you can definitely tell the difference here. To me, it feels a little bit thinner. They used a little less gold, just to me. But it's everybody's opinion is different. Having the watches side by side, though, really you can feel the difference. But at the same time, it's great value. It really is. So going into this dial, you can tell that they put a lot less thought into it. You're not seeing a tri-colored dial. You're seeing just white hands contrasting with the blue background, gold hands, and that's about it. So it's not as much, to me, not as much well executed. That's just my opinion. The chronograph pushers are just pushed, like it feels a lot higher executed. And let me show you for reference. So this is the other chronograph hands right here, and it feels a lot nicer. Pushing them in stopping it just compared to the other, because these are closer into the case. And I think it's a little more affordable to make, so I think that's why they did it for the regular piece here. But it is a beautiful dial, a Girard Perregaux, and it has the Ferrari logo, which I'm not a huge fan of. I would have liked them to slap it on the back and done a lot nicer dial, which they did in the limited edition. So it is what you pay for is what you get. I believe in that, but it is a great value piece here. And then you see the gold buckle, but you will have to put it on and off. There's no deployment on this. I would love to know what you like. You saw the contrast. You saw that they're both at a movement, so the movement, but the quality is definitely a difference on both. So that is my comparison of these two. I didn't want to drag it out crazy long. I did review these both separately, so if you want extra details, I did all measurements. Talked a little bit more about the movements on both of them and the story with it. So I want to thank you all for watching. If you enjoyed, I would love to hear it down in the comments. If you want to hear something else or want to watch something else, I would also love suggestions. Not because I need them, I just like to know what my audience likes. So I want to thank you all for watching, and I'll catch you in the next one. Have a fantastic day.